Hey, everybody. You may recall way back early in the semester, we talked about the history of education, and you all said you wanted to learn more about that. So I've tried to learn a little bit more because it's something I'm interested in. So I recently read this book. It's not School, the Story of American Public Education. It's pretty short. It's actually a companion book to a PBS television series, which maybe I'll watch that too. But the one thing that I really picked up from this book that fits in with our class is that Protestant Bible passages were frequently used in schools. That's one of the reasons in the late 1800s Catholic schools started because they didn't want all this Protestant stuff in there. But it does explain why so many of the authors we're reading could so easily put in biblical allusions, biblical references in their work because kids, it was a part of their public school. Now, of course, nowadays, religion is, for the most part, kept out of schools. It's a little controversial. Should they have Christmas parties or whatever? I don't really want to get into that. Um, so I just thought I'd let you know that that's the one important thing I got out of this book, that Christian passages, Bibles were used as a way to study reading and writing. Now, that's not the worst idea because the King James Bible, especially, is very well written. You should be studying the Bible as literature, but I don't know if they were studying it necessarily as literature. Also, I mean, maybe you didn't know this either, but well into the 1800s, I'm going to say throughout uh, roughly 1825 right up to 1900. That's where most of what we're reading is based. There were these one-room schoolhouses where all the kids in a very small area would go. So all ages in one school with one teacher. An average town around here, like Ghent, um, had 14 school districts. Some were spilled into other towns. So imagine whatever town you're in, if it's an average sized town like Ghent or Claverick or something like that, you would have had 14 schools, each with its own teacher, each with its own school board, each with its own little library of maybe 100 books. So it really kept a tight knit community. And you didn't meet a lot of kids from other places, so you ended up marrying your neighbors, et cetera, et cetera. So that classic one-room schoolhouse education did go into the 1930s, 40s, even early 1950s around here. Just the neighborhood kids going to one school. But definitely when the literature was written that we're studying this class, it was definitely one-room schoolhouse in where we live, Columbia and Greene counties. Maybe cities had certainly had something bigger as well. So there's just a little bit follow up on what you guys said you were interested in. If I learn anything else, or if you have something to share about public school education in the 19th century, I'd love to hear it.